Today, Washington has been reacting to President Obama's first big speech of 2014. Obama addressed the nation as the Senate held a vote clearing the way for a 3-month extension of emergency unemployment benefits. The president put that issue in stark moral terms. And for more on this big speech, the first of Obama's 6th year, I'm joined by host of Disrupt on MSNBC, Karen Finney, and Rich Benjamin, an author and senior fellow at Demos. Thank you both. Rich, you've traveled the country in writing and researching some of these issues. What did you make of the president's appeal here and the attempt to shift it from a conversation about handouts, as we've been discussing today, to something that's good for everybody?
I think it was wise for him, and it was wise for the country. It was wise for policy because he put it in stark human terms. If you take a place like Kentucky, for example, where Rand Paul comes from, people are hurting, people are suffering. So this rhetoric that people are lazy no longer works. And so I thought he did a good job this morning.
And Karen, a lot of this bridges out to a broader economic agenda for the president, the Democrats, including the minimum wage. Why do you think that is important right now?
Well, I think that's going to be the contrast that you're going to see Democrats make for the rest of the year. I mean, remember, as you've talked about on this program, it's not just unemployment insurance. It's also going to be an increase in the minimum wage. And I think the president is always, I think Democrats are on very solid ground when they're making that contrast between, you know, from a values perspective, are we really going to let 1.3 million Americans suffer when we could do something right now? And so I think you're going to continue to see that kind of contrast for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, the minimum wage issue, which is, again, like this issue, not just economics, and we expect from some people I've spoken to for it to come up in the State of the Union, goes to that compassion gap that we hear about. Take a listen to something Eric Cantor was saying earlier about food stamps. Take a listen.
Most people want to go out and be productive so that they can earn a living, so that they can support a family, so that they can have hope for a more prosperous future. They want what we want.
That's not wrong. It just depends, Karen, what you do with that point, right? The use of food stamps. Yeah, the use of food stamps increased significantly after the 2008 financial crisis, meaning it wasn't people, you know, choosing not to work, but outside circumstances. Go ahead.
No, but also, I mean, Eric, anybody can read from a piece of paper that says nice, pretty words that make it sound like you understand what's going on. But then when you vote, and you vote against the very things that would actually help the people you're talking about, then that is where the rubber really meets the road. And that's going to be, I think, where the politics this year is really going to have to be tough. You are going to hear a lot of very nice rhetoric from Republicans. From some Republicans, you'll hear that very sort of that rhetoric of, you know, lazy people and what have you, which is not so nice. But at the same time, it's about holding them accountable for how they vote. Yeah,
I think that's it's such an important point, Karen and Rich. It's something that I think goes to the sort of the procedural gap in how we cover this stuff. There's a lot of aspects of our, you know, constant internet, TV news culture that might not be good for politics, you know, all caveats aside that we're talking about this on TV. But one of the things that I think is good, particularly with the internet's ability to really keep track, is that going out there and claiming, as Karen's pointing out, that you like this in principle, but then you need an offset. Well, the House offered a farm subsidy offset last month. And Boehner didn't take them up on it, right? The president has offered a jobs program, and Boehner was saying today, as we pointed out, I think inaccurately, that there's been no attempt to do jobs plus unemployment insurance. So how does that fit in to the political pressure here?
The internet helps keep people honest, and that's wonderful. And the internet keeps people honest in a pressureful way. But I should mention the downside of short-termism is, if you look at the business community, this pressure to keep the shareholders happy, the pressure of elections, that has led to bad short-term decisions without looking at the long-term of inequality. So hopefully the president, de Blasio, all these people will look at inequality and just do what needs to be done looking forward.
I appreciate that. I appreciate a little bit of skepticism. Rich Benjamin from Demos, Karen Finney from MSNBC, thank you both. And of course, please do watch Disrupt with Karen Finney.